Okay, so the pandemic kind of sucks for a lot of different reasons. And one of the biggest things that right now a lot of people are dealing with is trying to do Zoom University. If you have the privilege of attending university in the first place, then your classes are going to be online for the most part. So there's some hybrid setups. But since we have to obviously stay at home, social distance, everything else, hopefully the vaccine helps clear some of the Zoom University stuff up later on. But for right now, unfortunately, we gotta do everything online. So today I'm going to give you some tips about how to survive Zoom University. Quick disclaimer, I know that not everyone is in college and not everyone chooses to go to college. That's really up to your choice. But if you are someone who is attending college and you are attending college in 2020/2021, this is for you. Okay, so first off, I have some preliminary tips. Just general tips, not only for college, but also just college online, specifically with Zoom University. So first preliminary tip, always use Rate My Professor. That will help you so much and literally save you. It's not always accurate, it's not. But it does give you a good measurement of how professors might be, how professors might act, what is some of the workload that they're going to be giving you, how hard their classes are. That's just generally, something to take into consideration when you're picking out your schedule and trying to, see which professors might be a little bit more, what is the word I'm looking for? A little more catering to your learning style. Or if you're just looking for an easy professor. Anyway, so I got my list right here, so I'm gonna be looking back and forth. Second preliminary tip, just read all of your emails. Check that often because you're always gonna get syllabi, you're always gonna get different things before class even starts. And just looking at that stuff ahead of time and making a habit out of just making sure that you are aware of what's happening is huge. It's a simple thing. You'd think people would do it, but they don't. I know I'm one of the people my freshman year, especially when we did the whole transition into quarantine learning and all that jazz. When that happened, I didn't look at anything. I was just like, screw it, it is what it is, and whatever. But don't do that. Please, don't do that. Just look at your email. It's so easy. A little bonus tip is try and reach out to your professors. Having that connection is going to be something that's really helpful. Not only for just knowing about the classes or knowing when to go to office hours or something like that, but just having that connection with a professor just kind of helps with like networking pretty much. They might have gigs, they might be doing research, how can they help me develop myself professionally? And then also a lot of professors are just cool people. They're people, just talk to them. Some of them are going to be dope. Some of them are gonna be trash, but you'll see, and you kind of just gotta figure that out. Okay, so the final preliminary tip is to make sure that all the classes that you pick for your schedule, for your roster, whatever they call it at whatever school, that they're all pertaining to something going towards your major, or you just know what the role of each class is. A lot of the times people will just sign up for classes not knowing if it's going to give them credit for their major or if it's going to give them anything that they need for like gen eds or core requirements. Just know what class you're taking and why. Sometimes you just need to take a class to take a class, and I get that, but just know I'm taking this class for this reason. That sounds like, again, something really simple, but you can get it mixed up. With that out of the way, now we get into the real tips. So, tip number 1, stay organized. Please. Alright, so I'm really bad at this myself. Like, I'm terrible at organizing stuff. I suck. I'm really bad at this. When I try putting stuff in, I feel like it's a lot of work, it's a lot of tedious work to just like write stuff down continuously. I don't really like planners. I know people like planners. I'm not a planner guy. I like lists for my week, which is kind of like a planner, but not really. make sure that you're organizing stuff, make sure that you're looking at all your syllabi and putting those dates into whatever calendar you use, whether it be a physical calendar, writing stuff down, or an online calendar. Personally, I like to use Google Calendar. This is not a sponsor or anything like that. I'm nowhere near sponsorship level. RIP. Google, if you want to sponsor me, please do so. Anyway, any of these calendar apps will help out a lot. I personally use Google Calendar. You can kind of just put stuff in and have it on a repeat cycle, which is really dope because I could put all my classes in, I could put all my work in, put it in a calendar, have a list on the side, have reminders, put stuff in your phone so that you can remind yourself, oh, I gotta study at this time. And that's really just it. Like, literally organizing your time will help you so much, because I remember like last semester, especially like with Zoom University specifically, you don't think it's gonna be a problem. You're gonna be like, oh, we're just at our houses all the time, not doing anything. But things still build up. I just hit my elbow. Doesn't hurt, but yeah, that's why. Anyway, so yeah, just plan that out. It really does help, especially if you have any routines outside of school, like self-care stuff, or if you have any personal goals, personal projects that you're working on, or even work in general, if you're working 1 or 2 jobs. I know a lot of students who work like 3 different jobs and do school. And it's so important for them to make sure that everything is marked out as specific as possible. That way you know what you're working with, you know the time frames between each thing, and it gives you a sense of space. Okay, like I have my classes laid out, I got my work laid out, what free time can I use for my side projects, for my personal development, for self-care, for healing, for rest, and then what can I use for studying on top of all that. Now we get into the second tip. As I was talking about, it's important to schedule out everything, and one of the things I mentioned was rest. And rest is so important, even online, right? Like you think like, oh, since we're online, we're not doing anything, we're gonna be all right. Wrong. Online school sucks. But we just gotta do it, and it is very exhausting to look at a computer nonstop for like 8 hours a day. Sometimes I would be looking at the computer the entire day, like 14 hours straight, and then after that, like what does rest look like? You can't really watch Netflix after being on a computer for that long. So rest for me really was just like sleep, physical activity, so I like to run a lot, make sure I get that into my schedule. And I actually picked up reading, writing, drawing. Y'all wanna take a look? I drew some Naruto sketches. It's bad, but it's just something that I can do to kind of just help make sure that I'm not looking at a screen, and that I'm kind of just taking time for myself, taking time away from a computer, away from a screen. So yeah, it's just, we got a lot going on right now, and it's important to just make sure that you are taking care of yourself. So sleep, meditate, run, work out, spend time away from a screen, go outside. That's a big one. We need fresh air. And yeah, college expects a lot from you, and coupled with whatever responsibilities you have already, just make sure that you are also planning to take care of yourself, and rest and relax. So I talked a lot about planning, I talked a lot about some of the productivity aspects, but you can't work hard without playing hard. I know that sounds super cliche. I know people at the gym are like, work hard, play hard, yeah, all that stuff, but it's real. Like, you need to have some sort of break, like what I was saying, like some side activity that you do to just have fun. Again, another thing that you can overlook, I know people who have worked like day and night, didn't sleep, didn't eat, did not take care of themselves, did not have fun. Like, they didn't do anything. Like, their whole lives are just structured around working, school, and then whatever other responsibilities you gotta do. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I'm just saying that you gotta approach that with some balance, right? So you can't always be working. I know that there's gonna be weeks where it's like work, school on end. And to kind of counteract that, you need to make sure that like part of your self-care is like that dopamine, right? That serotonin, whatever thing that just makes you fun, like have fun. Like obviously, like I don't want you guys to do any like self-destructive behaviors or anything like that. But like incorporate it into your schedule. And in order to make sure that you got time for that, make sure that you're planning for it. It could even look like, all right, so after this long assignment that I do, how I'm gonna reward myself is I'm gonna go, I don't know, bake a cake. I wanna bake some bread, right? whatever suits you, but just make sure that you're incorporating that into your plan, so that you can have that balance into your schedule. It's like, there's like different things online. I know Zoom University is not conducive to building community, but there's things that you could do still online. Like I got game nights for Brothers for Excellence, or SDMA, which is the large organization that I'm a part of at Loyola University Chicago. There's always events going on. There's always like Zoom calls, guest speakers, different things. Do that for real. Like seriously, like you want to go out and you want to not physically. I mean, you should physically, but like don't be stupid. It's a pandemic. But go out and just kind of open yourself up to some of these different activities and stuff. I know it sounds kind of corny when like students and freshmen, like when you're going through orientation, they're just like,
build community, yeah.
But it's like, it's worth something. Like actually, like I know that for me, having that sense of community on campus was really big, not only in person, but also online. When we made that transition in March of 2020, things got really rough and I didn't really have anybody to like turn to in terms of like my school environment. So it was really difficult to make that adjustment. And like I had my Brothers for Excellence community because I was a mentee at the time. Right now I'm a mentor. But I really just like really kind of just shunned away from that. I did a few activities here and there, but for the most part it was just getting adjusted to everything. One of the things that I really appreciated this last semester in fall of 2020 was that we had these retreats. We figured it out either way, and we made it happen, and we hosted a virtual space for people, whether it's like playing Among Us or doing our community engagements or doing retreats even. Just building that sense of community, even virtually, can be a really big thing. And not only that, it doesn't have to be like a mentorship program or anything specific to what I do. There's tons of clubs, like LGBTQIA+, or BIPOC communities. Any identity that you hold on campus, there's gonna be some club or organization that pertains to that specific identity, or any other identities that you hold, or interests that you have, or different things like robotics club, or soap club, soap making. What, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Or like, you know, like stand-up club or something like that. Like there's always these different things where you could like turn to, and it's just important to have some sense of community on campus, because it's important to not only just reach out to other people and make friends. Yeah, friends are important, but it's also just important to build relationships with not only people professionally but personally. Like even if it's like an advisor who is taking charge of that club, or admin who is a part of that club in some way or organization, they help you not only build on a personal level, but they also build you on a resource level too. That's a very tangible thing. So on any level, whether it be like a professional role or on a personal level, if you build those relationships, it's a lot easier to, you know, even ask for help when you need it, because not only do you have that established relationship, but you also have someone who might be connected with like other resources on campus. You might have a friend who is a part of an organization that helps, I don't know, get students involved in service work. So if you're feeling personally unfulfilled, then you can be like, I need to go like do some service work. Boom. But anyway, just really focus on building community because you might get resources to things you need. All of that in general just makes the situation a lot more bearable. So yeah, so building community is such a big thing. I cannot emphasize that enough. That was a really long point, but I really just wanted to share with everybody how important that is. Alright, so tip number 5. Make group chats. I'm not joking. Like in any class, like alright, so like in any class that you have online, right? You can't just turn to the person next to you and be like, hey bro, like what's up? No, like you don't have that anymore. So what are you gonna do? How are you gonna interact with fellow students when they're all just like little circles or little squares on your monitor? Make those group chats. That was a bad voice crack.
Those group chats.
Make those group chats.
No, for real, like legit, like GroupMe, Messenger, Snapchat, all of these different things are gonna be so helpful. Not only for building community, like I was talking about earlier, but also like if you just miss a day and you don't know anybody in your class, you can't get the notes. Like you're not to reach out to your professor, and that's always an awkward thing. They're gonna be like, when weren't you in class? Skip that. Just go to the group chat and be like, yo, what's up? Who's got notes? Sorry, I wasn't able to come to class. Or be like, hey, I won't be able to come to class this day. Can somebody take notes and cover me? This is something that helped me so much. Not gonna lie. This last semester in the fall, group chats literally saved my GPA. For philosophy, I think we made like a group notes. So like we shared each other's notes and stuff like that. But for the final, we made an ultimate study guide. And we were able to like look at that and study it. And there's like things that like, why am I burping so hard? Oh my god. There's so many things that you can interchange, right? So like if you forget about like week 2 about intellectualism, you can be like, hey yo, I got you. And then if someone misses week 7 about predetermination, you can be like, hey, that's predetermination. I got the notes. I got you too. So there's a lot of like crossplay and collaboration that's really good. Just in college in general, but specifically in facilitating that in Zoom University, do that. Group chats, 100%. So that was kind of my general tips and tricks and stuff. I do have one extra bonus tip, and that's to not take yourself too seriously. It's really difficult right now. There's a pandemic, potential civil war. I don't even know what's going on. Like, there's so much happening, not only in our nation, but all across the world. If you're a part of higher education and you're trying to do this, that in and of itself is incredibly difficult. So coupled with everything else, it's a lot. So just don't take yourself too seriously. I know that my freshman year, when I made that transition from high school into college, I was like, hey, like, we're gonna do great, you know, same studying habits, we're gonna do fine. And I almost failed my history class. I was like, oh shit, like, I gotta like rethink this. And it's alright, cause like, you're gonna take blows to your ego. You're gonna go into college, and it's gonna suck. You're gonna get D's, you're gonna get C's, and you're gonna get a few F's. But it's about learning how to manage that, how to get over that hurdle. And it's about learning legitimately how to not only work on studying, but also working on learning and working on these different skills to help you overcome these obstacles. Anyway, so please just don't take yourself too seriously. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be very humbling. So just do what you gotta do. Reach out to your professors. Reach out to people in your community, in your circles. Try to get the help you need. And like go to office hours actually. No one goes to office hours. Try going to some office hours if you're failing a class. That'll probably help. Or even if you're not failing a class, if you're just not understanding a concept or two, like it's good to just have that resource and take advantage of it. So yeah, like, you know, do whatever you gotta do, take whatever break you gotta take, just make it through. Don't come in thinking that it's gonna be like, oh, like, you know, like if I get an F, I'm gonna fail, I'm a failure. No, F's are part of the process. C's get degrees, you've heard that everywhere. So just take it easy on yourself. You don't gotta be too hard on yourself every single time that something bad happens. or something that doesn't go according to plan. It's about working on how to adjust that, and kind of just roll with the punches and go with the flow. What else do I got? Yeah. Alright. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. That wasn't everything I wanted to cover, but that was kind of just like my general couple of tips for surviving Zoom University. If there's anything else you want to talk about or want me to talk about, leave a comment below. I'm always willing to listen. So yeah, take care, do what you gotta do, survive college if that's what you're doing, university, community college, whatever higher education program that you're a part of, or no higher education program, you're just trying to survive this pandemic and be productive and do something. Either way, just make sure that you're taking care of yourself, doing what you gotta do. I hope all goes well, and I will see you later.